Hello everyone. In a previous presentation, I discussed research types in social sciences by purpose. In this presentation, I wish to discuss research types in social sciences by design or by research methods. So let us first begin with an understanding of what actually a research design means. A research design basically refers to the overall structure or roadmap of the research process in a research project or study. So a research design basically is a broader concept that elaborates on the whole overall structure or the roadmap of the whole research process. And the research design actually includes considerations related to the paradigmatic considerations related to the paradigms, the paradigmatic position of the researcher or the research method that has been used. And so we can refer back to paradigms including the interpretivist paradigm, the positivist paradigm, and then the pragmatist paradigm in social science research. You can see my research presentations on YouTube on those considerations. Then the second consideration when we think about research design is actually the nature of the research topic. So what is the nature of the research topic, whether it's open to one type of research design, or is it feasible through another type of research design. So the nature of the research topic is also something that we need to consider in before coming up with a research design. Then research questions and objectives are also important to consider when we are choosing the research design. So the type of research questions, the type of research objectives that we have, whether they are exploratory research questions or confirmatory type of research questions or objectives, those will also play their role in the research design considerations. Then the data collection and analysis processes will also play their role. So the type of data collection and analysis processes will also play their role in the research design considerations. And then issues related to validity and the authenticity of research process. So when we think about research design, we actually refer to a multitude of considerations, including the paradigmatic considerations, the nature of the research topic, considerations related to research questions and objectives, considerations related to data collection and analysis processes, and of course considerations related to the issues revolving around the validation or authentication of the research process. All these considerations play a role in the research paradigm and so in the research design, and so a research design is a very broader concept in encompassing all of these considerations. Now we move on to research methods. These are more specific. This is a concept that is more specific. And it actually refers to the specific processes of sampling or selection of data sources in a research study, the data collection processes, the validation of the data collection and analysis processes. These actually come in the fold of research methods. And so we can look at these examples. For example, the method of sampling, the questions revolving around this is the use of specific sampling techniques in the research study. So the research method section will elaborate on what sampling techniques have been used in the particular research study. Similarly, the data collection and access will also be discussed in the methods section. So the data collection, actually the data collection methods, whether we use questionnaires or interviews or observations or scales and checklists, whatever the data collection method we use will be actually described in the research methods section. Similarly, the method of access to the data sources is also something very important, and this is something that we will discuss in the research methods section. Then the validation process of data collection. So how was the data collection process and the data analysis processes validated? Now that is something that will be discussed in the research method section. So in other words, the research method section is basically refers to the how of the research process. So how was the sampling done, or what techniques were used to do the sampling? How was the data collected? How was access achieved to the data sources? And then how was the data collection and analysis processes validated? And then the analysis actually means description of the data analysis processes as well. So you in the research methods section, we also need to include a description of how actually the data was analyzed. So these, as you can see, come inside the broader research design considerations, and so research methods section of the research reports, or the research process actually you can say is a subset of the research design, which revolves around broader considerations. Then we move on to the main research designs in social sciences, or the different types of research designs in social sciences. And so in social sciences, there are three main types of research designs that have been identified: the quantitative research design, the qualitative research design, and the mixed method research design. The quantitative research design makes use of quantitative data collection, validation, and analysis methods. And there is a separate lecture on the quantitative research design, qualitative research design, and mixed method research design that are available on my YouTube channel. So you can you can go and see details related to these on those presentations. But generally, the quantitative research design makes use of quantitative data collection, validation, and analysis methods. The qualitative research makes use of qualitative data collection, validation, and analysis methods. And the mixed methods research makes use of a combination of both quantitative and qualitative data collection, validation, and analysis methods. Now let's see what do we actually mean by quantitative data collection, validation, and analysis methods. And similarly, what do we mean by qualitative data collection, analysis, and validation methods, and what do we mean by mixed methods, data collection, and analysis methods. So quantitative research, an example of quantitative research will actually include experimental research, for example, correlational research, and descriptive research. Qualitative research examples include case study research, ethnographic research or ethnography, phenomenology, narrative, and grounded theory. And mixed method research makes use of a mix of both quantitative and qualitative data collection and analysis methods. as I said earlier, I have separate lectures related to quantitative research, related to experimental research, and case study researches and ethnography, and similarly mixed method research. So you can watch those lectures on my YouTube channel. Now we are moving to the end of this presentation with the general data collection and analysis processes that are involved in these three types of study of researches. Quantitative data collection processes or data collection tools actually include questionnaires and checklists, etc. And data analysis is generally, because the data is in the form of quantities or numerical entities, that is why data analysis is generally based on statistical analysis of the data. Qualitative data collection includes tools such as interviews and focus groups and observations. And again, I have separate lectures on these available on my YouTube channel. And data analysis, which actually is, because it's generally textual data, it's non-numerical data that is generally involved in qualitative research. So data analysis is conducted through thematic analysis or qualitative content analysis. And you can see detailed lectures on these on my YouTube channel on thematic analysis or qualitative data analysis. And similarly, mixed methods research, the data collection includes observations, interviews, and questionnaires. So as you can see here, we make use of both types of data collection methods and analysis methods, including observations and interviews. Now, questionnaire is something that is generally used in quantitative studies, but in mixed methods, we can make use of interviews, which is generally a qualitative research data collection tool, and questionnaire, which is generally a quantitative data collection tool. And as we have both types of data in mixed method research designs, so that's why data analysis will also actually include both statistical and thematic or content analysis. So this is a general description of the three main types of researches by method in social science research: the quantitative research, the qualitative research, and the mixed method research. For more details related to these individual types of researches, you may watch relevant presentations on my channel. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.